This is the Uptick Newswire Stock Day podcast, sponsored by InvestorsHangout.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube to stay up to date on penny stock news and interviews, public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world, with your host, Everett Jolly.
On today's show, I'm bringing you back a returning guest, and I'll tell you what, they are just a step in a way of getting ready to blow it up. They were on the show back in June 6th of 2018. We're talking no other than American Manganese, Inc. They trade on the OTC markets. You can find them under the ticker symbol AMYZF. You can find them on the TSX up there in Toronto under the ticker symbol AMY. And if you're out there internationally, you can find them on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol 2AM. And with us today is the president and CEO of the company, Larry Reaugh. Larry, welcome back to the show.
Always glad to talk about our company.
You know, before we get started, I want to talk about your new appointment. You got a new chief technical officer. Can you bring us up to speed on that? Why him?
Okay, well, he's a mining engineer, Zarko. Zarko's came to work for us and worked on the business plan, which he did a tremendous job on. And so we've eventually put him in as the chief technical officer. And he's a big, a very welcome and valuable addition to the management of the company. You know,
I was looking at some of your past press releases and just, going under some of your 8Ks and stuff like that. You guys have got a new, well, I won't say a new product, but it's product pending, if you will, AIMS lead generation. What sort of interest has your technology generated from that?
We've had interest all over the world. Not only interest, but we get invited to a lot of the battery conferences and the EV car conferences. For every one that we attend under invitation, there's at least 3 more that we have to pass up. We just don't have the time or the budget to cover all the bases. But we've been well received in the industry. We've had talks with some of the biggest battery manufacturers out there, commodity firms, and actually firms in other areas that are not necessarily directly involved in EV cars or battery manufacturing. So we've had a great success at doing that. I think once the patents are granted, that the interest will probably result in some kind of a partnership.
You know, you guys are searching for nickel, cobalt, lithium, manganese, aluminum, and probably some other minerals I haven't mentioned. That being said, you're currently building a pilot plant. Where are we at in the process of that?
Well, we're in the process of building it. Because it's a different size of a plant, a lot of it has to be fabricated. And so it's taken a little bit of time, but most plants do. And I expect that the plant will be up and running this fall sometime. And then we move on to the 3-ton-a-day commercial plant. And believe it or not, that kicks off a lot of revenue.
You know, speaking of revenues, right now you guys are pre-revenues. As all mineral companies, stocks have went down 30, 40, 50%. It's kind of the norm through the whole industry. That being said, when do you think revenues will finally fall on the balance sheet?
Well, if we get the commercial plant started and built next year, I expect early in 2020 that we should be in a position to start reporting revenues.
Guest today is Larry Reaugh. He is the president and CEO of American Manganese, Inc. They trade on the OTC markets. I think they're grossly undervalued here at 10.5 cents. Their ticker symbol on the OTC market is AMYZF. If you're up there in Canada, you can find them on the Toronto Stock Exchange, the TSX Venture under the ticker symbol AMY. You can find them on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol 2AM. Let me ask you this while I got you on the line, Larry. What should my listeners take from this interview, and why should they go out and purchase your stock?
Okay, there's a lot of talk of recycling lithium-ion batteries. We're the most advanced out there. We have a patent pending that has been published already, so you can actually go onto our site and see the press release regarding that and look at the published patent. And we expect that the patent will be granted, like I said, in 2 or 3 months. And we're the leaders in that. There's definitely nobody that we can find or that our contractor, Cametco, can find that has anything near what we have, and we've recovered up to 100% of the cathode metals out of these batteries. And I think that this is going to be, the EV car is going to be what they call a $90 billion business in 2025. And so the battery section should be at least a $25 to $30 billion business. So we're entering a field ahead of the pack that will put us in a position to be the largest recycler of lithium-ion batteries out there.
Before I let you go, is there anything that we didn't get a chance to touch upon that you would love to illustrate to my listeners?
Well, I'd just like them to realize that we only just recently decided to start hitting more investment shows rather than the battery shows. We're well exposed there. We get repeat invites. But we haven't been hitting a lot of investor shows, so we're planning to hit more investor shows than the EV or battery shows because we think it's time to take the message out to the investing public.
I want to thank you for coming on my show. Like I said, you were on back in June. I wish you nothing but continued success. Hopefully you'll come back on in 40 or 50 days. Give us an update. Maybe by then we'll have some news on the patent.
Well, hopefully news on the patent and news beginning to flow out of the pilot plant. That'd be good timing.
Thanks for your time, Larry. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
This program is entirely sponsored and produced by Uptick Newswire, LLC, which is responsible for the content. The opinions and information provided on this program are those of the guests and those of the respective companies they represent, and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of Uptick Newswire. Uptick Newswire encourages all listeners of this program to do their due diligence and research when determining investment strategies that will work for them, or to seek the assistance of an investment professional. The guests of this program may have paid for its distribution and are not directly affiliated with Uptick Newswire or this station.